welcome to Watching the Game. Your host Idrees and joined today by Yunis Froug. Um, Today will be our World Series recap episode after the Dodgers defeated the Rays 4-2 and 3-1 in Game 6. I think there's one thing in particular we need to talk about.
Yes,
And
and if nobody knows what we're going to be talking about, it's about the poor decision that Mr. Cash made in the sixth inning.
Yeah, so the Rays manager, Kevin Cash. So, for some context, obviously the game is 1-0 through this going into the sixth inning. Blake Snell, the Rays ace, has given up one hit. My bad. Whereas, and
I think it was two.
no. At this point, it's one hit.
Oh,
The Rays were up 1-0, and they were getting a few hits, but they hadn't really scored anything since the first inning. It was 1-0. Snell gets the first out of the sixth inning, and then he gives up a hit, a single, not even like a bad hit. And then, because the Rays have played this way all year, he decides, I'm going to pull out Blake Snell now, and I'm going to trust my bullpen for some reason. And I understand that they've been doing this for most of the year, but then what happens? The Dodgers scored 2 runs that inning.
Dodgers scored 2 runs in that inning. 2. And they end up winning.
Then they get a home run later in the game, and they win 3-1. Because of the stupidity of Kevin Cash, who just cost his team a chance to at least win the World Series in Game 7.
I mean, in my decision, Kevin Cash, you have to be able to adapt to basically his new surroundings. So you were in the playoffs. It was working all the year, right? The playoffs, your ace is on fire. It's literally the World Series, Game 6. It's a winner-go-home game. Your manager decides to pull the best player. Okay, maybe we'll say Arozarena was the best player, but I'm talking about pitching-wise. Best pitcher. Doing great through 5 1/3. He pulls him out and trusts his bullpen. I understand that, yes, you've been doing this all year, but if your ace is on fire, I don't understand what was going through his mind.
It's just like the Rays throughout the season, they really didn't let their starting pitchers go deeper than 5 innings. Which is whatever. I don't really think it's a big deal. I would think it doesn't even matter that much in a 60-game season. If it was a full season, then okay, that's a good idea. But, and I know they have a good bullpen. But, I think who'd they put in again? Anderson? They put in Anderson yesterday, who had been struggling. And you took a guy. You can let a guy go 7 just because of this new age of baseball. You can let a guy go 7 innings. You can let him go until he starts really slowing down. He wasn't slowing down.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they were like, nah.
I think another part of that is, yes, they've done it all season, but they also trusted their offense to pick up the pace, but unfortunately they did not.
Sure, that was dumb too, but either way, we're talking about you still had the lead that you only gave up because you took him out.
Yeah.
And then this sparks a whole debate. People are like, oh, look, analytics are ruining the game. The funny thing is, honestly, probably based off the analytics, they would say you should have kept him in. I just think
Yeah.
I just think Cash panicked. There's no other explanation. None of it makes sense. Even they kept panning to Blake Snell on the side, and you could just see he was so pissed.
You could see his frustration right when he saw Cash coming out. I think everyone could lip read what he said.
So just, oh my god. You know, I don't think this is this hurts analytics. We need to go back. But I mean, it wasn't that long ago that a lot of pitchers would pitch full games, complete games,
Yeah.
often, and then he also was only up to 70 pitches. It wasn't like he was up to 100.
If you went up to like at least 90, 100, if he was going that high, then I would kind of understand his move, but still in this agreement. But right, I think it was only at about like 73 or 76 pitches, and he decided to pull him.
They took him out, and he was about to face the top of the order, who was already 0 for 6 against him, and the top of the order that struggles against lefties. And then right after they take him out, Mookie Betts hits a double, and then a wild pitch scores a run. Then an infield hit scores a run. Blake Snell doesn't give those up. He wouldn't give those up. I mean, you can just look at the other examples recently. Last year, the Astros took out, what's his face? I think it was Zach Greinke.
Yeah.
In Game
Yeah.
7. And that ended up backfiring. The Cubs took Kyle Hendricks out early in Game 7. That ended up backfiring, but they ended up winning still. It wouldn't have come down to the wire if they hadn't taken him out so early. I understand the idea of, let's take him out now before he starts getting tired and gives something up. Sure, there's a thing, but you're paid as the manager, so you know exactly when to make those decisions. For example, earlier in the playoffs, Kyle Hendricks was pitching very well through 7 innings. He gives up a walk and then a hit. David Ross comes out, decides to leave him in. The next batter is a home run. That's when you should take him out.
Yeah.
You need to,
you see him
to know. If you don't know, then honestly, half your job as a manager you're unable to do. I'm not
you're
take away from
basically
him.
unfit.
I'm not gonna take away
You
from
don't
him
know
for
when
the
you're
entire season, because they were 40-20. Not a lot of people expected them to be this good, and I mean, yeah.
And as you said, half your part as a manager. You have to know when your starter is losing his not his focus, but is not on his game as he was.
Yeah, exactly. And that just wasn't the case right now. Just super frustrating. We could have definitely had a Game 7 today. But
Yeah, definitely.
someone, I mean, I respect everyone for attacking him, because frankly, not badly. I mean, for criticizing him, he definitely made a huge mistake.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it doesn't hurt the analytics side of the game. But switching over to Dodgers, who won the MVP again?
Corey Seager
Seager.
was on a hot roll in the postseason. Didn't produce. I mean, he still produced in the World Series, but overall in the postseason, he was the man for the Dodgers.
Should have given it to Betts.
But the storyline for the Dodgers, I think it was about 6th inning or so, if I'm correct, when the league got news that Justin Turner tested positive for COVID. They had to pull him out. What do you think about that?
Dude, they're very. They were honestly, it's all Turner's gonna get fined, suspended, or something. because
Yeah,
he just went against everyone and he just went out to celebrate. You know.
yeah. There's many reports that he disregarded coronavirus protocols, and then yeah, as you said, he's probably gonna get fined.
He's a fool. He is a fool. That's all there is. Like honestly, what does it matter, bro? I get you want to celebrate and all, but just wait. Just wait, you fool.
I don't know. I feel like that's there's an error on both sides. Like, why do you get your test results in the middle of the game? It's like a miscommunication on both sides. And I get his tests were inconclusive, but it's still the like the health part, um, the doctor part of the MLB that should get it done beforehand, before the first pitch.
Yeah, I agree. Um, congrats to the Dodgers. Pretty. I mean, they were the favorites coming into the season. I wonder how the Red Sox are feeling with all that saved cash. Must be real nice to have instead of, another World Series.
Exactly. Mookie Betts winning 2 out of the past 3 World Series.
Fools. But a good job for them. And before we end today, let's talk a little bit about a couple of NBA hires. Daryl Morey is now in charge of the front office for the 76ers after they already hired Doc Rivers. So honestly, that's a very interesting move. It makes me wonder if they're going to keep both Embiid and Simmons and just trade for as many three-point shooters around them, or if one of them could be gone.
I mean, I agree with you. It's a very nice pickup by the 76ers. And no, I think they're gonna build around Embiid and Simmons. I think they're gonna give them good contracts, and as you said, bring in players that can join in the symphony.
I just wonder how they're gonna get any team to take on Al Horford or Tobias Harris and those
Yeah.
god awful.
They're probably gonna keep Tobias. They're most likely going to try to get rid of everyone else.
Hmm. They could keep Tobias, but I don't know if he fits in with like Maury's vision. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mhm. I mean, unless Philadelphia is dumb enough to build around Tobias and not Simmons and Embiid, because I feel like they see potential in him.
See potential on who?
Tobias.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just what I'm saying. I mean, I doubt they're gonna go around that, but
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, all I would say is that they had to kind of switch things up in the front office. They couldn't just go with the status quo that kind of screwed them the last couple of years. And I don't know
they
how
can
the
just
power structure is going to be with Elton Brand now. But
mm,
hopefully it's just
can just like head to the
he's not really in charge anymore. At least that's
exactly.
the hope. If he's still in charge, then it's like, eh.
I mean, it was a good pickup because they had to change things up a bit. You can't just keep making the playoffs and then getting out on the first or second round.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like the Clippers.
So we already talked about Stan Van Gundy. I think we talked about Billy Donovan and the Bulls. The Rockets just hired their new head coach. His name is Stephen Silas. He's a Mavs assistant. I honestly don't know who he is, but
Me neither. I have no clue
that's
who he
that's
is. But I
interesting. I
mean,
guess that they're hiring a new guy, not a. Because a lot of people thought they'd hire Jeff Van Gundy or Ty Lue. So like Ty Lue went to the Clippers.
yeah.
Um, who's the guy the Pacers hired again? The Raptors assistant. What was his name?
I think he was Dan Burke, I think, or something.
Oh no, that's the new 76ers assistant that Embiid was trolling.
Oh yeah, their new head coach. You mean for the Pacers?
Yeah.
Nate Bjorkgren.
Hmm. So this guy was. I'm surprised. This guy was the assistant for Nick Nurse, but he's not Adrian Griffin. A lot of people thought Adrian Griffin would be the guy.
Yeah, I would agree there.
So that is kind of surprising. There aren't any more vacancies, right?
Let's see. So Indiana has a coach. LA, Philadelphia,
Houston.
Chicago, Cleveland are sticking with their coach, right?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think actually that's the last of him. I guess it's because they might be starting in what's it called in December, which would be very fun. I hope they do start then, but they need to
Yeah,
get.
but I doubt it. I think like MLK Day would be a more suitable date for them to start.
I hope not. Need to
And
start
if they're still
early.
continuing with this bubble,
I don't think they're doing a bubble. They're probably doing like what's it called? They're just gonna have no fans. They're gonna do what the NFL and MLB did, and then the limit like travel. They'll have more series. You know what I mean?
yeah, like if a team had to go out, like for example, the Bulls had to go out to the West Coast, have like most, if not all, their West Coast games like in a week or two,
Yeah,
instead of them traveling back and forth.
something like that would be ideal. But I do. It doesn't even have to be. Honestly, I just really want the Christmas Day stuff. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that as well, but I doubt that would be target date.
I don't know, man. I think they could do it. They could do it. Anyway, I think that concludes our episode for today. We will be back with you Friday. I'm Idrees Kademi signing off.